Hello, this is your host, and here are my favorite stories of the week. A man in China has been counting down the days until his death. He's currently 29 years old. That's not unusual, but he has found an unusual way of doing it. He has made a calendar which counts down from the day that he was born until the day that he dies. So far, he's crossed out about 10,600 days. The reason he's doing this is because he has a rare medical condition. It means that he only has around 4,380 days left to live. Says that his condition means that he has the lifespan of an average Chinese woman. Apparently, this condition makes him age faster than the average man. You can see all of these dates on his calendar.
Ow.
This story really makes you think about how precious every second of our lives is. Let me know in the comments how many seconds do you have left to live. Do you want to find out? There's a website called dayssince-birth.com where you can put in your date of birth, and it will tell you exactly how many seconds you have left to live based on the average lifespan of a person. When I put in my details, I had 17,850,578 seconds left to live. If you're watching this in 2050, this number might be a little bit lower for me. I found this quite fascinating. I hope we can use technology like this to help people who are sick and find out exactly how long they have left to live. Maybe one day we won't need to rely on averages, but we'll be able to tell exactly when someone is going to die. Some people might find that useful. Some people might find it too distressing. Now I have a question for you. Would you rather know exactly how long you have left to live, even if it's only a matter of days or weeks or months? Or would you rather not know and just live your life not knowing when it could end? Let me know what you think in the comments. The world's most remote post office has opened its doors to customers after being cut off from the rest of the world for 5 months due to bad weather. The post office is located in a small village in the mountains of the Chinese province of Gansu. Its nearest neighbor is another village, and that's 2,400 miles away. It takes a 6-hour car ride followed by a 3-hour walk to get there. During the winter, heavy snowfall can block the roads and make the area completely inaccessible. In those conditions, the mail carrier must travel over the mountains on foot. Locals in the area rely on this post office to receive important documents, such as government benefits and pensions. Mail carriers in this region of China are considered to be heroes. They often have to battle freezing temperatures, blizzards, and landslides just to deliver the mail. These people work in some of the harshest conditions imaginable. People sometimes ask me, what's the worst place you've ever worked? What's the hardest environment you've ever worked in? And I always say that working in television is easy. I've met camera crews who have traveled to war zones to film the news. I've met reporters who have interviewed people under bridges who are homeless. I've met people who work in hospitals who look after people who are terminally ill. I always say that these people have real jobs. Working in television is easy, so I feel like these mail carriers in China deserve a lot of respect for having to work in such harsh environments, often alone, away from their families, for very long periods of time. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't fancy a job like that. A new species of chameleon has been discovered in northern Madagascar. The tiny reptile is only 3 inches long and was captured on camera for the first time in 2020. It was officially classified as a new species in February this year, but experts believe that it may have actually existed for millions of years. The chameleon is known as the ocellated chameleon and is named after the spotty patterns on its eyes. The animal is so small that it can easily blend in with the leaves of trees and shrubs, making it extremely difficult to spot. Experts believe that the chameleon has evolved to be so small in order to survive in its environment. Smaller chameleons are less likely to be seen by predators such as birds and snakes. Adult chameleons are also less likely to be eaten by lemurs, which are native to Madagascar and are known for their large size and appetite for insects. This particular species of chameleon is also thought to be endangered, as its habitat is being destroyed by deforestation. In recent years, Madagascar has lost a significant amount of forest cover due to logging and /hand-burn agriculture. This has led to a decline in the population of many endemic species, including the ocellated chameleon. Conservationists are working to protect the remaining habitat of this tiny reptile in the hope that its population will eventually recover. Scientists have recently conducted an experiment which proves that it's possible to levitate objects using light. This experiment was conducted at the Max Planck Institute for the Science of Light in Germany. A team of scientists used a technique known as optical tweezers to levitate a small dielectric object. Optical tweezers work by using a laser beam to trap small particles. The beam of light is focused into a very small spot, creating a strong enough field to hold the object aloft. In this experiment, the scientists were able to levitate a small sphere made of dielectric material. The sphere was about 10 microns in diameter and weighed less than a milligram. To achieve this, the scientists used a laser, which was 1,000 times more powerful than the natural sunlight that reaches the Earth. The sphere was levitated inside a vacuum chamber in order to prevent it from being affected by air currents. Once levitated, the sphere could be moved around using the laser beam. The scientists were able to move it in any direction, including up and down, left and right, and even in circles. This experiment has far-reaching implications for our understanding of physics. Levitation has long been seen as a miracle or a magic trick, but this experiment shows that it's possible to levitate objects using the laws of physics. Specifically, it's possible to levitate objects using the radiation pressure exerted by a laser beam. Radiation pressure is a force that's exerted on objects by electromagnetic radiation, such as light. It's a very weak force, but it can be strong enough to levitate small objects. Scientists hope that this discovery will lead to new technologies in the future. For example, it may be possible to develop optical tweezers that can be used to manipulate cells or other biological objects. This could revolutionize fields such as medicine and biology. Also opens up the possibility of developing new types of transportation systems that use levitation. Although this is still science fiction, it's theoretically possible that we could develop vehicles that use light to levitate and move through the air. This could potentially allow us to travel without roads or rails, which could revolutionize transportation. This is a very exciting development in science, and I look forward to seeing what the future brings. Scientists at the University of Göttingen in Germany have created a system that can predict how the human brain responds to visual stimuli before the response occurs. They published their findings in the journal PNAS, and the results are truly fascinating. The researchers developed a model that uses machine learning to predict the activity of neurons in the human visual cortex before it happens. The visual cortex is the part of the brain responsible for processing visual information. Neurons in this area of the brain respond to specific visual stimuli, such as lines, shapes, and colors. By studying the activity of neurons in the visual cortex, scientists can learn how the brain processes visual information. In order to develop their model, the researchers used data from a study in which monkeys were shown a series of visual stimuli, while their brain activity was monitored. The researchers then used this data to train a machine learning algorithm to predict the activity of neurons in the visual cortex. The algorithm was able to learn the relationship between visual stimuli and the resulting activity in the brain. Once the algorithm had been trained, the researchers used it to predict the activity of neurons in the visual cortex in response to new visual stimuli. The results were incredibly accurate, with the algorithm correctly predicting the activity of neurons in 90% of cases. This is a remarkable achievement, and it provides new insights into how the human brain works. The researchers believe that their model could be used to develop new treatments for visual disorders, such as blindness and color blindness. It could also be used to develop new technologies such as artificial vision for blind people. This research is truly groundbreaking, and I can't wait to see what the future brings. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please do share it with your friends. Thank you for watching. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.